The knowledge base of what we do in medicine needs to have advanced to the point where you understand what a cell secretes, how cells communicate, and what growth factors are, and what an exosome is, and the different types of things. The medical industry as a whole, and in particular, I think big pharma, realized very early on that cell therapy was the way the human body works, and they had to get ahead of the narrative before the science of using your cells to help you heal got kind of out of control. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Wade McKenna, and this is the Zero Downside Podcast. Want to thank you all, invite you to like and subscribe, hit the notification button. Feel free to comment, send us questions, and we'll work really hard to answer those. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite unsung hero peptides, which is not so unsung if you're in an inner circle of elite athletes. I think that you're going to hear about it a lot when you're in the right post-injured or chronically inflamed group of individuals that are really dependent on overall muscle mass and function to be able to make a living or to just make their life better. The weekend warrior is just as in tune with their body as some of the professional athletes we take care of. I think that what we've said before, I think that the new Rolex is abs. If you really want to flex on your success, it's not about wearing the right watch anymore. It's about being in shape and feeling good. And I think that from that perspective, that's where the mitochondrial-derived peptide comes in. And the name for that, well, that's its real name, is mitochondrial-derived peptide, but it's Mots-C, M-O-T-S-C. So Mots-C is intricately, there you go, that's a more difficult word to say than I thought it was going to be. It's intricately involved in the meta-inflammatory cycle. It's a mitochondrial-derived peptide, and my daughter wants to make sure that I say mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. So there's the first check for this episode, is I had to get mitochondria as being the powerhouse of the cell out. With that being the case, that's where the Krebs cycle happens, right? So when you think of the Krebs cycle, that's NAD. And so Mots-C actually drives the regulation and can drive increasing levels of NAD+. So NAD+ is a pretty important substance since it's involved in the Krebs cycle in every mitochondria, in every cell in the human body. So anything that helps with mitochondrial health and could increase mitochondrial function and proliferation and functionality seems like it might be important. And I think that's what clinically a lot of athletes have found. A lot of weekend warrior people have found. A lot of people going through chronic inflammatory stages, especially in low-grade meta-inflammation of chronic disease, obesity, diabetes, surgical recovery, chronic wound care. I think that with Mots-C, it can be a 2 to 4 week period before a lot of people will see a difference, but it's very crucial in overall myoblast formation, the regulation of myoblasts, the upgrading of a myoblast, as far as a myoblast is a precursor cell of skeletal muscle. So when it comes to metabolic regulation at a mitochondrial level, there is a way to augment mitochondrial function. It's kind of a cheat as far as what helps the cell do better at a mitochondrial level as far as overall cellular metabolism, the stabilization of cell wall function, myoblast formation, control of the meta-inflammatory load that causes you to age. There's really good discussions in most of the books that talk about peptide therapy, and there's a lot of new information out there that can be really too general to make a lot of use of. And of course, if you search it on the big influenced paid for versions of a search, you're not going to really see anything on Mots-C other than the fact that it's unregulated, it's not FDA approved, it's a naturally occurring substance in the human body that has a therapeutic use when it comes to our clinical response that we've seen in patients, as far as recovery from illness, as far as maintaining overall muscle function, muscle recovery after an injury, staying out of that chronic inflammatory stage as you get older. A lot of discussion on Mots-C is about the anti-aging effects because it enhances mitochondrial function. Our use of the only thing you got to be careful of with Mots-C is, from a usage standpoint, it may not be an everyday peptide for a lot of people, because you can have a little bit of folate or homocysteine side effect from that. So if you already have a problem with that, if you have MTHFR or you're not really supplementing B vitamins appropriately, and I would recommend a methylfolate or a methylated B vitamin on anyone that's taking Mots-C. And it might be necessary to take a drop, like 5 MTHF, like the methyl tetrahydrofolate, like a little bit of a drop to supplement that if you're going to be taking Mots-C a lot as part of your surgical recovery, or as far as your recovery from a workout, as far as your ability to try to obtain a lot of increased muscle mass. If you're working out a lot, you're breaking down your body, you're trying to build things back up and get stronger, and the body kind of works against you a little bit as you get older. That's where Mots-C's place can be. And if that's you, then and it becomes one of your go-to peptides, then I think that you need to be on the right B supplements, and you might want to add 5 MTHF. Other than that, there's not a lot of downside to, well, there it comes again, right? So check the box. We got downside outside of the title of the podcast. Not a lot of downside on the use of Mots-C if you're in a chronic disease state or a recovery state or trying to build muscle. That's the pathway that mitochondrial-derived peptide can help augment your recovery and your ability to navigate the storm of your activity level. So with that being said, I know this is kind of a quick, down and dirty little discussion, but hopefully that answers some of the questions on who and why we add Mots-C to individual peptide stacks. There are a lot of athletes out there who get tested for a lot of other things, and peptide therapy that I would normally want to take a weekend warrior through with some of the secretagogues or BPC or a lot of the more well-known versions of peptides, they just can't take because they're banned. And they would test positive, and we never want to do that to an athlete. Those might be some of the individual usages out there where you might see those type of patients trying to find, like, I can't believe we're already into the world of peptide therapy. We're talking about more traditional peptides versus the non-traditional peptide. Like, there's no peptide that I think should be considered just traditional usage anymore. But I think as it normalizes and you see bigger stacks coming out to navigate bigger storms from a health perspective, you'll see and hear a lot more about Mots-C than you may have up to this point. And it's been a pretty go-to peptide in our clinic for quite some time. So I wanted to make sure we got some content out there to explain why we help augment certain recovery recommendations with that individual peptide itself. With that being said, if you have any questions about peptide therapy, or you're looking to be able to find access to certain peptides, please feel free to go to our website. It's Moab, M-O-A-B, Texas.com. It's McKenna Orthopedics and Biologics, or the mother of all biologics is really what we wanted it to be. But MoabTexas.com. We have the ability to create a peptide intake form there for you, help kind of navigate the storm and figure out what would be best for you. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. If you enjoy the episode, please like and subscribe, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you get updated when we release a new episode. Again, thank you so much.